We have a question. Thank you, Rachel, asking a question right away. This is excellent. Love them. Do you have any tips on pre-event strategy when you are fairly new to breaking into the industry of events, no previous year data, and you don't have a pre-event list? Yes, Rachel, just what Doug just said, sales, go to your sales team, right? Who's at that show? Are they prospecting anybody going to be there? I'll let Doug get to it, but I think like when you don't have that data to effectively market, you're going to your sales team saying, hey, or your stakeholders, why are we here? Who are we going after? Make sure you're aligned on the basics of what you're trying to do. Then I'm getting with sales saying like, hey, if these are our targets, who's prospecting them, who's in communication with them, and giving them all the resources they need, whether it's after dinner parties, engagements going on in the booth. How are you going to effectively get them and say, hey, we're going to be there. I'm going to be there. I've been prospecting you 6 months, but I want to come talk to you. I want you to stop by and come talk to me. Here's a reason why. Doug, I'll let you kind of jump in there.
One of the biggest things, and Rachel, while we're answering this, if you don't mind clarifying, is this for you breaking into the industry or the company? But I'm going to just take a stab at how you have it. One of the biggest things we see, and this isn't so company perfect, the biggest thing we see across the board is some clarity. Like the clearer you are with what you're trying to accomplish at the show, you then can back out some specific goals. So for example, in the building industry, they have a lot of buying shows where literally companies are coming to make their commitments and transacting. Your goals and what you need to inform the sales team there is very different. In a buying show, you better get every single possible customer you can there and close as many orders as possible. So the onus is going to be on the sales team of like, how do we create an environment where it's easier to transact and close deals? If, for example, your show is more, hey, we're here to introduce ourselves, we're a new brand, we're just trying to make a footprint, you're trying to make a splash, well, then those goals may rely heavily more so on marketing. So your sales team become more of a distribution mechanism. They're going to be spreading the word like, hey, as Matt mentioned, like give them a reason to come see you. And beyond the tchotchkes, like, yeah, everyone likes to take home the stuff from trade show booth to give to their kids, but create something of purpose, like make it memorable so that there is something to follow up. And this, which I know will lead into towards the second half of the show, what do you want to do after? And this is a piece that everyone missed. This is no different than like a web page. If you have a landing page, like if you drive traffic to something, what do you want them to do after? Like, do you want them to come to the booth and have a conversation and then book a meeting afterwards, or book a demo after, or have a salesperson call on you? The clearer you are about the post event and what you want to happen, the easier it is to understand what type of experience you need to curate at the event to make the next step possible. And all of the marketing, whether it's trade shows, whether it's websites, we use an acronym called TACTICS. And it's a specific checklist we go through with everybody. It makes it easier to do pre and post. It simply stands for traffic. Where are we getting our traffic sources from? Action. What do we want them to do when they get there? C is the commitment or the micro commitment. Like, do we want them to spend time with us? Do we want to get their email address? Do we want to get their phone number? Do we want them to scan a QR code and then they're going to receive something afterwards? The most important piece, and this is what I'm leading to at the post traffic, is the ICS. It's their first impression. When they meet you or they walk by your booth, if you're at the show and you got a bunch of sales guys just sitting there shooting the breeze and they're ignoring people, it's intimidating. Nobody wants to walk in there. And that's their first impression of a brand. And I'd say it's akin if you're car shopping, you walk into the lot and everyone ignores you, you're probably going to hop in your car and leave. Same thing's true at a trade show event. And then last piece is customer service. If you tell somebody, hey, I'm going to follow up with you in a week and it's 2 months, that's indicative of what it's going to be like to work with you. So I'm less likely to take you at your word. So these pieces, and when we use that tactics acronym to set up campaigns, it's just that quick checklist to figure out, do I have the clarity of what I want that experience to be and what it's leading to? Then I can reverse engineer what my pre-show has to look like.
Yeah, I think that's good. And Rachel, I think it's good that you clarified the company. I would stress with what Doug is saying. If you are new walking in that door and you don't have a ton of data, get with your stakeholders, ask about why. Ask the good, why are we here? What's our intention? Who are we going after? What's the purpose? Have we yielded results in the past? What's worked? what's not. You got to start digging to understand all that, because I think once you understand that big picture, then you can start thinking, okay, I don't have great data. And my pre-event strategy really, in my opinion, should be centered around what Doug just said, which I think is customer intent, right? What is their intent at this show? Not your intent. What's theirs? Why are they there? They're saying, is it a buyer show? There's all different kinds of people are there for education. There people are there to buy. There's, people there to look at new technology. There's a million reasons, but if you understand why they are there, then I think you can really figure out how to pre-market them and capture them there. My biggest pet peeve is companies treating their events, their trade shows as just a cost of doing business versus as this is a strategy to push company initiatives to create ROI or whatever it is, whatever your intentionality, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you're saying, hey, this is a strategy to go help pursue that. Essentially, what we're going to do today is we're going to really try to get into more detail as to how to do this. And Doug, we were talking prior, and I think it's a great place to kick off. You just finished working with a company doing a training, right? And it was training for sales, but it really overlaps and pushing into an event that they have that's coming up. I'd love for you to touch on that a little bit, because I think it's such a piece of prepping for trade shows and events.
Absolutely. This is really important, especially in the B2B space. We have a client, they have one pillar event per year. And it's when I would say 80% of their sales are conducted. And prior to working with us, I think this is probably consistent across the industry. Most cases, the marketing team bears the brunt of putting on the trade show. They do all the pre-show stuff. They send out flyers, they do direct mail. What we changed is we started to bring the sales team in 12 weeks before the event. And we sat down with them and we developed a training and laid out, here's the entire campaign leading up to the event. Here's what we're doing at the event. And here's the responsibility afterwards. And we assigned very specific KPIs to what we hold them accountable to. So for example, we need each rep in a given region. We need you to bring 3 to 5 people on these specific dates. Like these are the main KPIs you're held accountable to. And every week leading up to the event, they report back and say, hey, here's where we're at. Here's the challenges we have, or here's the success we're having. And then we go in and we plan the next week. So it's very detailed and specific to what we need the sales team to do. And then the marketing team has a chance to reply and respond, make adjustments. But we did some of that last year, but decided this year we're actually going to make a very dedicated plan. We created planning sheets for the sales team so they can sit down weekly and figure out like, hey, who are our top customers? Are they coming to the show? How do we figure out how to get 20% growth with those customers, knowing like they're going to be here with the intent to buy? And then we built an incentive program or a pricing program that has a time window. So within 20 days of the post show, your early bird pricing ends. It's scarcity, one of the fundamentals of marketing, but everything was lined up. The sales team's trained. They know the deadlines, the terms and conditions. They understand the whole campaign and they know, hey, this is what I must do, what I'm accountable to. And if there's any traction fans, we're basically just applying some of those traction principles into marketing and sales. And I found when you do that, that's when you win. But when they're desperate or separate, that's when you get sales guys showing up, they're like, oh, trade shows don't work, or they're just there to drink beer. And you get 0 results.
You know what I love about what you just said on that piece, and I thought was great to kick off, is number one, you're talking about buy-in, right? You're saying marketing, the company, we need buy-in from really the stakeholders for what trade shows or an events do. It really is marketing and sales. And look, some of these bigger companies, they have a go-to-market team, they have a marketing team, they have an event team, they have a sales team. They're all segmented to a degree. And I do know from working with our customers, they have challenges within those. Events team has a challenging time getting things from marketing. You know what I mean? Sales, getting the information from events or everybody. So, but the idea is if you're in this seat, getting buy-in and getting sales on your bus to go to an event is huge. And in my opinion, people want to know pre-show what to do, get sales literally pushing the bus. It is marketing, but if you can get sales pushing the bus, you can get some serious traction there.